Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So it is BoxyCharm day. It is by far my favorite day of the month. It is the day my BoxyCharm comes in. I just got it out of the mailbox and every time like I run, I get it, I come in and I'm like, I gotta open it, I gotta film. So if you wanna see what's in the box and how to use it, make sure to keep on watching. Please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload twice a week and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first, it is Boxy Bash is the theme. BoxyCharm actually turns 5 in May of this year. So it is their 5th birthday, so they're kind of doing a birthday celebration theme. First thing I noticed is that they did go back to the old insert cards. I don't know if the last one was like a tester batch or maybe they didn't have the postcards. I don't know. I definitely prefer the one they did last month, the new like trifold card. However, this is still really cute. So let's jump into the box. First item out of the box is the Cover FX Blurring Primer. Now this is a lightweight soft focus primer that blurs the appearance of pores, fine lines, and other imperfections, and it retails for $38. Now this is not going to be a first impressions because I have actually used this before. Not this exact one, obviously. But the one thing I will say is it is a very good primer. It does blur the pores really nicely. But the one thing I will say is you do not want to go in too heavy with this. So like that is enough for the entire face. Now, if you do go in too heavy with this primer, it will kind of pill up with your foundation a little bit. So you definitely want to go in with a nice smooth layer, pat it into the skin, press it into the pores. Make sure you've kind of diffused it around the face and you don't have it like starting to build up because then it's just going to show through your foundation. For foundation today, I'm going to be going in with the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour. And I know I'm not using a beauty blender. I'm using OI6 from Morphe. In my last video, I'll link it down below, I reviewed the Lilly brush kit from Morphe, duh. And I have been loving these brushes and it's like all I've been using lately. Like all of my old brushes are, like I still love them, don't get me wrong, but like, you know when you get a new toy and you just want to play with it? That's how I feel with these brushes, specifically this one. Especially because it's taken me so long to find a foundation brush I actually like that will rival a beauty sponge. This is definitely it. Okay, so the foundation is on. It went on really smooth. Definitely my pores are filled in and blurred out. There's no real pilling going up from the primer, so this did go on really well. So I'm just going to jump into concealer and all that stuff that doesn't require the box, and I'll be right back on the next item. So the next items we're gonna use out of the box are, these kind of go together. This is the PUR Sculpting Palette, which is a bronzer. Well, it's really a contour palette, but this is really warm, so I would probably use it more as a bronzer. But it is a contour and highlight palette, and with that is the Aesthetica P12. This is a $30 value for the Sculpt palette, and for this brush, it is a $27 value. It is really soft, so I feel like this is really gonna blend in contour very well. Personally, I will typically go in with a little more of a dense brush, which I may play around with and see, but we're gonna try it with this brush first. So just to see what we're going into, I'm just gonna grab some swatches. So we have the darker contour, the lighter contour. It's kind of on the warm tone, but I don't think it's warm enough to really use as a bronzer. Then we have the lighter highlight shade. I'm sorry, the darker highlight shade, followed by the lighter highlight shade. Because it's a fluffier brush, I'm gonna start with the lighter shade and see if that is good for me and see how that works. I actually really like that. Normally, I would not like such a soft brush for contour, but I find that it really hugs the cheekbone nicely and it helps to just give me the natural definition that I'm kind of missing. So I do like that. Definitely going with a lighter hand because on this side it did get a little bit muddy. I'll clean that up after. But when I went in with a little bit of a lighter hand, it just gave me this more subtle wash. I am on a smaller brush, gonna go into the darker shade just to get that like right in the hollow right here, just to give me a little bit more definition. And then I will actually blend it out with this brush. I really like that. These are really pigmented. Normally with like a bronzer or a contour color, they won't be quite so pigmented. It'll give you the ability to build them up. This one definitely goes in strong, so if you're gonna use it, start gently. I'm definitely gonna say that this brush, I didn't love it for contour. I am going to try it, however, with bronzer. So jumping into my current favorite, which is TanTastic from Marc Jacobs, I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and warm up the skin a little bit more. So this is definitely like my new favorite bronzer brush. I love the way that this applied. It's dense enough that you get a nice even distribution of product, but it's also soft enough that you can really like blend everything out seamlessly. While we're in here, I am actually gonna be using these as the eyeshadows today, just because we did get and I'll go into it later, a black liner in the box. So I'm gonna be doing something a little more graphic with the liner today. So I want something a little bit softer. So starting with Inventor, the lighter shade, I'm just going to slowly define the crease a little bit. And for like big liner days or days where I want to do something a little bit lighter, I will regularly take like bronzer or contour shades and just use them as a quick eyeshadow in the crease. And then dipping into the darker shade, I'm just going to give myself a little bit more definition. So then I'm just going to finish up the face and the eye look. I'm going to take a little bit of a banana powder. This one is the Brighten Up powder by Essence. And I'm going to start by taking that on the under eyes and anywhere that I have concealer, just to brighten. Just to quickly throw on blush, I'm going to take Hush Blush from Pretty Vulgar. This was in a box, I think, last month, maybe the month before. I don't entirely remember. Don't sue me, but just gonna take a little bit of that and then blend all that together like I always do, just so that the bronzer and the blush get really seamless. So I did just throw on a little bit of setting spray just so that there's no powdery residue. That way, when I try out the highlighters, we know if they are awesome. So I'm going to start with the darker shade and then I'll probably layer the lighter shade down here. So just to start with Trailblazer, which is a little bit more of a deeper tone. That's beautiful. That is definitely blinding, and if you want to put it on wet skin from a setting spray, that will definitely help amp it up. And this side's a little drier, so obviously it's a little bit more natural, so I'm going to build it up just to make them even. And then, as promised, I'm going to try the lighter shade just to see if we can amp this up a little bit. Okay, this is gorgeous. I am going to have to play around with it by itself and not layered, because this is definitely one of those shades where I think layering it is definitely like making them both stand out. I would love to see how they perform on their own, but honestly, this is a beautiful palette and a total win. So the next item out of the box, this is a brush trio. This is also from the brand Aesthetica. However, the trio is a 3-piece eye trio. It comes with a brow spoolie, a fine-tipped eyeliner brush, and an angled eyeliner brush. So I actually typically don't use I can't even get this off. I don't usually use a pointed eyeliner brush for liner. I prefer to use it for like detail work on the inner corner, so that's probably what I will do. And honestly, a spoolie is a spoolie is a spoolie. I did my brows already, and I mean, it combs through the hair, it goes on nicely. I have so many spoolies. The spoolie is gonna be good, but this brush I'm excited to play with. So next out of the box is the Pretty Vulgar Ink Liner. Now this is a highly pigmented gel eyeliner with quick drying application enriched with vitamin C. To condition the lids, it's creamy and water resistant, allows for smooth application and stay in place. So I'm actually gonna take this today and I'm going to run this along the lash line and slightly winged out, and then using a smudger brush, I'm actually going to do like a smoky black shadow liner today, but this will be the base. I don't typically like a gel liner for my wings. If I'm gonna do wings, I'm gonna use a pen. So typically I'll go in with either the Kat Von D or the Smashbox liner pen. I find that it goes on just so much easier than a gel. However, I do love using this as a base for a black shadow look. and you actually get a lot of product in here, and this is adorable packaging, so 10 out of 10. The brush trio retails for $45. The gel liner retails for $24. So this part's gonna be pretty quiet just because you gotta kind of like hold your breath when you do liner, and I'm gonna put this on gently and I will be quiet. Now, the one trick to using an angled brush is you wanna dip it in the product, and then you just kind of wanna like pinch it along the side of whatever container it is, and that's just gonna help these bristles to kind of like pinch together to give you a little bit more of a smooth tip. And just so I don't have to go back and forth, I will be using the black shadow from the El Jefe Hank and Henry Luster Lights Alter Ego trio, and that's what I'll be using. Then going into a soft shadow brush, I'm just going to continue to blend that up a little bit. Then on the pointy brush, I'm going to take a little bit of that same liner, and I'm going to just run that, ooh, that's a lot, on the lower lash line and waterline. Then just like on top, I'm going to set that down with a little bit of black shadow. Then going into the brown shadow, I'm just going to smudge that out a little bit into the lower lash line. Then back into that angled brush, I'm just going to connect right here where that wing meets the lower lash line. And then I'm just going to blend out that lower edge. Okay, so I'm gonna go do this exact same thing on this eye and throw on some lashes and mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, so these are Mykonos from Lilly lashes. I did blink a little too quickly when I was doing this eye, so it transferred a little. I had to cover it, and when you make a mistake like that, honestly, just throw on huge lashes and nobody can see any issues. So last item out of the box, I can't speak today. This is from Han Skincare and Cosmetics. This is the lip gloss. Han Skincare Moisturizing Lip Gloss is formulated with antioxidant-rich argan and acai oil, infused with anti-aging superfruit extracts and vitamins, and it's apparently very pigmented. It retails for $15, and it is summer, well, almost, it's spring, but I love a heavy, bold lip with a light gloss, so I'm hoping it's pigmented, that it'll give me some color. But I'm actually really excited just for it to be glossy. So let's see how it goes. So this has that very like vanilla buttercream, almost like the Jouer lipsticks do. I'm really liking that. It is more like a glossy lipstick than it is a true gloss. Not that I don't like it, but I was looking for something with a little less pigment and a little bit sheerer. If I knew it was gonna have this much pigment, I probably would have lined my lips first. So I am liking it, so I'm gonna let it dry down a little bit and then hit it with something else just to see how well it layers. But right now, it's very lightweight, it's very wearable, it smells and feels really good. Let's see what happens when it dries down a little. Okay, so it has dried down and it is definitely more of like a glossy lipstick like I said, but you know, it's not very transfery, it's not very sticky, but I am gonna see how this layers. Lately, I've been obsessed with the Hank and Henry Lip Luster glosses. This is in Your Mom. I'm just gonna add a little bit of like extra shimmer to the inner portion of the lip. It actually worked really well. It didn't pick up the product that was already there, and it did layer very nicely. So all in all, I think this is gonna be a really good base gloss. I'm definitely probably going to put something else over it whenever I use it because the color is a little more lipsticky than gloss for me, but all in all, it is probably a really good product. And the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab the light highlight shade and I'm just going to hit up the brow bone and the inner corner. So first, the primer, I definitely like the way it mattifies throughout the day, but I am getting a little oily over here. It has been an hour since I started doing this, so it's been a little bit of a while, but I will always go in with a primer like this for pore filling, then I'll go in with like a tacky one, like the J1 Jelly Pack. So this is not gonna replace like my Ride or Die Silk Canvas from Tatcha or my Tarte Timeless Clean Slate. I always forget what it's called, but I love this primer. Not gonna replace those, but it is something maybe I'll mix in as I go. Next, the Bronzer Sculpt Highlight Palette. I keep saying bronzer, but normal people won't use this as bronzer. For me, this lighter shade is actually more of a bronzer, but honestly, this is gonna be great for travel. It is a great all-in-all palette. It also worked really great on the eyes. So from like an eyeshadow quad, like you can get a lot of use out of this if you're gonna use this as kind of like your universal I'm traveling powders. This brush is magic. I love how soft it is and how tapered it is. It reminds me of, I'll link the number of it down below, but it is a Smashbox brush that my best friend has it. I borrowed it from her once and it was beautiful. And it's very similar. It's like soft enough that you can really buff out product and you're not gonna go overly heavy with the product. And it is great for bronzer application. Not my favorite for contour, but I will be using this more for bronzer. The brush trio. The spoolie is a spoolie, but these two brushes were actually very good. They were soft. They didn't irritate the eyes. I was able to take this right in the waterline. I was able to use this to kind of wing out the liner before I put some shadow on. All in all, it did go really well and very precise. The liner, very good as far as gel liners are concerned. However, I did on this eye, you'll see it's a little wonky. I kind of blinked a little too heavy, I guess, and it did transfer. It didn't dry down as quick as I would like. So you definitely have some playtime with this if you want to buff it out, if you want to use this as a base for your smoky eyes. However, that being said, once it dries, it doesn't go anywhere. So you're definitely going to want to like put this on and like wait for it to dry and then move forward. You're not going to want to use this and like instantly just start blinking and going into the next item. If you don't have time to let it dry, don't use it. And the last item is the lip gloss. Obviously, I put something else on top of it just to add a little more luster. Lately, I've been really into lip glosses that have a shimmer in it. It is all because the Universal Fenty Gloss Bomb, I said that backwards, the Fenty Universal Gloss Bomb, that kind of set up for me this obsession with glittery lip glosses. So I don't love it as a, you know, I guess matte lip gloss. There's no shimmer in it, but it is very glossy. It is very pretty. I wish I would have lined my lips first because it's a lot of pigment. You're gonna get a lot of pigment out of it. It's really gonna give you some color. I like more of a sheer gloss, so if you're gonna go in with something like this, line your lips. So all in all, this box retails for $179, which is, since I've been doing BoxyCharm, the absolute biggest value of a box ever. I guess that's part of their birthday celebration, is that this box was stacked with amazing products. So if you are interested, I'll link BoxyCharm down below so you can take a look at their stuff. I will also link the Lilly brush kit video because with the exception of these four, the brushes I used today were all out of that. Thanks again for watching and I will see you soon. Bye.